Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Saturday, December 28th, 2024. We are wrapping up the year, and what a year it's been, but what a year ahead. And there is amazing astrology because all of the outer planets will change signs for a few months in 2025. Saturn Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune will all enter other signs for a few months. The big deal is the Mars retrograde energy and the fact that we have a new moon on Monday. We have a new moon on Monday the 30th. But let's look at what's going on right now. Early this morning at 2:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus, which is the planet of love and value and beauty and creativity, squared Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, surprise, and chaos. Now, the south node of karma is currently transiting in Libra, and it is going to be leaving Libra on January 11th. So it's finishing its journey there. And Venus rules the sign of Libra, that is the sign of partnerships. And Venus square Uranus, well, that could be unexpected invitations. That's definitely unexpected events. It could be very exciting. It could be very innovative and creative because the two combined could be great for brainstorming, doing creative projects, but there could be canceled plans. There could be unexpected issues with partnerships. There could be unexpected blowups. We're dealing with Mars retrograde right now, which is the bigger part of the story for all of us. But Venus Uranus, expect the unexpected. Again, maybe you had unexpected invitations in a good way. Maybe you got an unexpected bill. Maybe you got a windfall and you got overtime you didn't expect or a check you didn't expect. But it brings a dynamic energy to the weekend. And we're dealing with Mars retrograde, as you all know. And what's interesting too is that we're completing the year and we're beginning the year with Mars retrograde. Mars only retrogrades once every 2 years. And this is a very unforgettable Mars retrograde because it's retrograding, it's forming three oppositions to Pluto. Mars is the planet of war, Pluto is the god of the underworld, and it is death and rebirth, and is the higher octave of Mars. And there's going to be a new moon tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, on Monday. Remember, new moon on Monday. I won't sing it. But that's going to occur at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, inherent in this new moon is the mutable T-square that we've been dealing with. So Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn, and the new moon will occur at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 30th at 9 degrees and 44 minutes of the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn. This is an initiating new moon. This is an ambitious new moon. The moon is in its detriment, pardon me, it's in its detriment because it rules the opposite sign of Cancer. But it is a sign that really likes to take initiative and take action, and it is very focused on responsibility, goals. What do you need to accomplish? What do you need to do to get this done? Not easy with Mars retrograde, but still taking with Mars retrograde, taking accountability of what you need to do, recharging so you can have more energy to complete your tasks. But we've got this new moon, and it also sets off, it forms an opening square to the solar eclipse that occurred on October 2nd at 10 degrees and 3 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra. This is the 3 months later, it forms a square. This sets it off. What have you been doing since that time period, since the eclipse in early October? And then there will be a closing square on March 29th, when there is a partial solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. And that will, again, pick up where we left off from the solar eclipse on October 2nd. And this new moon, what you're trying to build, even though you're in a review period with Mars retrograde, that could take form or fruition, reach fruition by the solar eclipse in March, and that is the final eclipse in Aries. But what's interesting too, the North Node of Karma is leaving the sign of Aries, and it's going to be entering the Pisces Virgo axis for the next 18 months. And we will have our final eclipse in Aries on March 29th. We had our last eclipse in Libra on October 2nd. So we left, or we're leaving, we're not done yet. We're leaving that eclipse series, which began in April of 2023. And that eclipses happen every 6 months. They can be for 2 to 2.5 years, and they bring a bring a spotlight rather to the signs involved. The North Node is where you're meant to go towards and embrace. And in Aries, it's been encouraging and inviting all of us to start new things, to be independent, to take charge, and have courage in a very difficult time. Well, the ruler of Aries, Mars, is retrograde. The only planet that does not retrograde, well, Venus retrogrades once every year and a half. Mars retrogrades every 2 years. It retrogrades the least frequently of all the planets. And what's going to happen, the North Node is leaving Aries. The eclipses finish up in the Aries Libra axis at the end of March of 25. But Neptune and Saturn are both going to leave the sign of Pisces. So in the backdrop, we've got this Aries, take charge, Mars driven energy, very masculine energy. Go ahead, fight for what you need to do, fight for yourself. But then Saturn trying to anchor and build in Pisces, a dream, trying to anchor something that may feel very difficult to build and to contain. You can't contain the ocean, so it can feel very slippery. Having faith, building with having faith, because Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces, is so much of dealing with your faith and spirituality and various healing and spiritual modalities that you can implement in a very difficult time. And the more unusual part is that Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces, has been transiting at the last degrees of Pisces. But Neptune will enter the very first degree of Aries on March 30th, and it will transit there through October 2nd. It's going to get as far as 1 degree or 2 degrees of Aries. And so early degree, basically close to where the North Node of Karma is right now, because the North Node is by the world point. The world point is 0 degrees of the cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. 22 degrees of those signs is also the world axis. And the North Node is hitting the world point, so urging all of us to take initiative, even though the dispositor, Mars, is retrograde. And it's retrograde in Leo, which is a fire sign, very, passionate and creative, and it rules the heart chakra. But Mars is going to return to the cardinal water sign of Cancer on January 6th. And it's going to remain in Cancer through April 18th, but it's going to be retrograde through February 23rd. So Mars is exalted in Capricorn. That's where this new moon is taking place, in the sign of Capricorn. But it's in its fall position. It does not like being in Cancer. It's very emotionally triggered. And Mars can have triggers. And so knowing that we're finding ways to deal with taking care of ourselves, with parenting ourselves, and in the new moon chart on December 30th. So what's going on? Well, Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. What has it done recently? It formed a square to Jupiter. Jupiter formed a second square to Saturn on December 24th at 14 degrees of Gemini and Pisces rather. Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini because it rules the opposite sign of Sagittarius. It gets very scattered. Gemini and Sagittarius and Pisces, these signs involved in the energy, are very adaptable and mutable and fluid, but they go in many different directions. Jupiter and Sagittarius embody the big vision. Gemini is more the everyday facts, definitely curiosity and obtaining information, but in a more focused, linear way. Sagittarius is taking it all in. So Jupiter is the big picture and learning empirically and in many different ways, but Gemini again is more localized, more focused, and so that's been difficult. You have Jupiter, which is how you expand and tap into hope, squaring Saturn, which contracts and restricts, and Saturn in Pisces. Well, Jupiter wants you to tap into hope and optimism and say, I can believe that this is possible, that my dream, Saturn in Pisces, what I've been trying to build, my imagination, my creativity, my love too, my spirituality, I can do this. But we had Jupiter square Saturn. The first time was on August 19th at 17 degrees of Gemini and Pisces, respectively. And then now the second round on December 24th, the last time they'll be in Gemini and Pisces. They were at 17 degrees of the mutable signs, being Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. If you have points or planets between, let's say, 14 to 20 degrees of the mutable signs, you would feel that Jupiter-Saturn square. This is testing your faith and saying you have the ability to magnetize this, to expand your vision, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe what do you need to take responsibility with Saturn and Pisces. What do you need to focus on more? And you need to believe in yourself. The North Node is leaving Aries soon. It's going to enter Pisces, which is going to bring a whole other level and much more Neptunian energy. And yet we've got Neptune transiting in Aries for several months. Saturn, which is how we anchor, how we build, how we construct, entering the sign of Aries from May 24th through September 1st. Neptune will be in Aries from March 30th through October 22nd. That begins a whole new journey, and Saturn will only get to basically 0 degrees of Aries. So the very beginning point, the world point. So this is a whole new narrative of challenging you to believe in yourself, even though in the backdrop we've got the Saturn-Neptune energy, and they will meet up exactly to the degree and minute in February of 2026. But this is, a lot of stops and starts to the beginning of 2025. We complete 2024 with the moon in Capricorn, a new moon, okay? On Monday, we got that new moon on Monday. Almost going to sing it, but I'm not. And it's, again, setting off the past eclipse in October 2nd and the upcoming eclipse on March 29th. And it's taking accountability of, okay, I can't expand this yet. Jupiter squaring Saturn. I need to tweak this. Well, what an opportune time to tweak how I move ahead with Mars retrograde. I need to tap into what I love. Leo is a very creative fire sign, the most creative of the fire signs. And Pisces is the most creative of the water signs. Okay, Jupiter in Gemini, I've got a lot of ideas. Mercury, which is now in Sagittarius, it was retrograde as of November 25th. it's gonna, it's been in Sag for a while, since November 3rd, but it's gonna clear its shadow on January 3rd when it gets back to 22 degrees and 40 minutes of Sagittarius, where it retrograded on November 25th, and then it's going to enter the sign of Capricorn. Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. So it's not going to be in a Jupiter ruled sign anymore, and it won't be in its detriment anymore, because it rules the opposite sign of Gemini. So that, Saturn squaring Mercury, it's in its detriment. Jupiter squaring Saturn, well, Jupiter is in its detriment, and Saturn, Pisces, should be in its detriment, but it's not, feels like it. And the last couple of days, Mercury formed a T square because it opposed Jupiter on the 26th. That can be a flood of ideas and a lot of information. A lot of you may have gotten more information. And then it put the brakes on Friday, the 27th, when it squared Saturn, giving you and all of us a reality check and saying, okay, but maybe the reality check is good, because if I do this, I can accomplish this dream. I can get new clients. I can get this new job. I can get my health in check, etc. And the other thing that's interesting too is going back to the Aries theme, because even though the North Node is soon leaving the sign of Aries, and it's going to meet up with Neptune in Pisces in February 7th, an early part of next year, Chiron, the wounded healer, stations direct on December 29th, so the day before the new moon, at 4:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at 19 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. And this defaults back to the total solar eclipse that occurred on April 8th of this year at 19 degrees of Aries. 19 degrees and 25 minutes. And this is interesting because, again, we're getting out of the eclipses in the Aries Libra axis. We're beginning a new year with Mars retrograde. Not ideal for getting new things done. Mars ruling the sign of Aries, making us feel a little less courageous or confident in ourselves. But with that too, I just lost my train of thought with this. Chiron, oh yes, at 19 degrees of Aries since the middle of November until the middle of February, saying face the pain. Mars going back into Cancer, a lot of triggers around your inner child. Old memories might surface around relationships. The South Node right now is at an early degree of Libra. It's about to leave, but that can bring up old memories around partnerships. And with Chiron in Aries setting off that total solar eclipse, the sun is exalted in Aries, just as almost basically as strong as when it's in Leo, where Mars retrograded on December 6th. You've got to find it within yourself to fight. There are a lot of exciting opportunities next year with the new age of Aquarius and with Pluto newly in Aquarius. And this is the first round of Capricorn season, or the new moon in Capricorn, where Pluto, the planet of death and transformation, was not in the sign of Capricorn since 2007, which means you've been working on releasing and letting go and rebirthing and transforming yourself in the area of your chart where Capricorn falls. And Pluto is the cosmic compost, letting go and shedding those layers, releasing things that are bringing you down and that are toxic for you or that lower your vibration. And this new moon is where you've cleared the path for building something big for you. So I wish you a lot of luck. A happy new moon. I'm going to LA on January 6th through the 13th. If you're in Los Angeles, I would love to read for you. I'm doing a reading special, $85 for an hour recorded reading. I give crystals and I make the experience fun, and I would love to see you. So good luck, everybody else. I'll be doing a New Year reading special as well, phone or Zoom. Take care and thank you.